And I've shared this testimony about my life a couple of times. That ile siku nilienda nika make a prayer when I was just about to do my Form 4 KCSE. And I said, Father, I will not ask for an A. Who cares about getting an A? Where will I go with an A? My prayer was that, Father, the same way I came to this school as a young boy, innocent, acknowledging you, I want to live here knowing you. That is what I wanted. And for the first time in my life, I had God speak, a voice, presence, God descending upon me and his voice. You will do well in these exams. Trust him. That is what I had. And from that day henceforth, my spiritual life has been marked by the fact that God speaks. We do not serve a deaf or dumb God. Praise Jesus. My spiritual pursuit has always been, I know I am not serving an idol. I am not serving a dumb God. I am not serving a God who only spoke kitambo na kanyamaza. I am serving a God who is continually speaking. I am serving a God who has something to say. When after this fellowship, when we leave here, depending on what we'll have for today, I have to stand on the fact that God has something to say about today before it ends. God has something to say about tomorrow. If not, remember our message at Christmas. And what did I share about that message last Sunday? I shared that how do you get yourself in the story of Christmas? If you can't, that's just a good theater. It's just a good theory. And did we learn that or did we not learn that? We learned that. So let's look at this scripture vizuri the way the writer anaandika. The writer ana compare between past and present. I want you to even, if you have notes, ama if you're writing in a book, I want you to separate it mara mbili. I want you to start by writing God speaks. That's the main fact. God speaks. Then below it, I want you to have two tables. One is the past, the other is a present. The writer hapa anasema, in the past, which is long ago, God spoke. Meaning in the past, God spoke. That is long ago. He spoke to the prophets. He spoke to our ancestors, but through the prophets. At different times and in different ways. I don't know if you've ever had a sermon, someone sharing a sermon on the different ways God speaks. Then anakupatia story ya Old Testament, a lot of people, how God spoke with the clouds, with the winds in a dream. Someone gives you a lot of list of how God used to speak. Halafu anakuambia, God can speak in that way. Even today, anataka kukuambia hivyo. But it's good to know how God spoke in the past. He spoke to our ancestors, meaning our forefathers, depending on the version you are reading. He spoke to our forefathers or to our ancestors. Using who? Prophets. And how did he speak to prophets? In different ways, times. He spoke to them in different ways and at different times. We can see God speaking through a donkey, using a donkey. We can see God speaking through a burning bush. We can see God when a cloud, I don't know what happened with the Israelites through the clouds when it separates. We can see God in all those times. We can see God speaking in different ways. Usiku, mchana. Praise Jesus. Different seasons. That is in the past. But ask yourself, how is God speaking in the present? The writer ameanza kusema long ago, God spoke to our ancestors by the prophets at different times and in different ways. Tumemaliza hiyo ama tujamaliza hiyo? Now tunaingia present. In this, anasema, presently, we are in the last days. Because as I was asking the Lord, why give me the theme of Jesus? Yet I'm like, Jesus has always been our theme continually. Why make it me aware that 2026, I want Jesus to be your everything? Think about Jesus day and night, focus on Jesus. God akaniambia these words. I can remind because these are the last days. Because these are the last days. The writer up and under too. In these last days, he has spoken to us by his. How has God spoken to us in these last days? We all know that to me agree God speaks. We've seen how God spoke in the past. Even as you take time kusoma the Old Testament, isome and enjoy it. See how God was working and was doing things. Then ask yourself, presently, how is he doing? The writer hapa anatuambia vividly, presently, we are in the last days. These times where other writers wanasema, these are evil times. Praise Jesus. People are doing wicked things paka unashtuka. Praise Jesus. Some wicked things inafanywa even come in the name of it's the law, it's legislation. The writer hapa anasema, in these last days, he has spoken to us by his son. You can ask yourself, what is God saying about hii time tuko? What is the writer ako like, God has spoken to us by his son. And notice how he describes the son. Number one, God has appointed this son. Why the son? Why the son? God has appointed the son, who's Jesus, as the heir of all things. The heir of all things. Then the writer anasema, God as well, God made the entire universe with Jesus in mind. Through Jesus, the entire universe, everything we see that has been created, it was through Jesus. Then the writer anasema kitu ingine very important, anaendelea. Jesus is the brightness of his glory. The son is the radiance of God's glory. Ama the brightness of his glory. And Moses, was Moses the radiance of God's glory? That's what radiance. The next. The exact image of his person, or the exact expression of his nature. Ama other versions semanga, the perfect representation of the Father. Which version uses the perfect representation of the Father? Ama the exact image of his person. That is King James. The express image of his person. Then anamalizia kitu yenye nilifikiria sana jana. I thought about this extremely a lot yesterday. He upholds all things by the word of his power.